Hi everyone. Thank you for joining me again for another video. In reading numerous articles online, I find it interesting that some people define grief and loss as two different things. In my previous video, I shared what loss has taught me, and today I'm going to look forward to discussing what grief has taught me. In simplified terms, I like using acronyms to easily define and understand the meaning behind a word. Let's begin with the spelling of the word grief to represent grateful remembrance and eternal friendship. Okay, GRIEF, which I like to think of it as grateful remembrance and eternal friendship. It's simply gratefully remembering our eternal friendship with our deceased loved ones. What we miss most when they pass is not where they live or what they owned, but our friendship. We miss their companionship, conversations, memories, shared values, and unconditional love. Let me say that again. We miss their companionship, conversations, memories, shared values, and unconditional love. When we grieve because our deceased loved ones showed us unconditional love and provide us a meaningful existence of heaven on earth. It is no wonder our hearts grieve heavily when our loved ones have passed because we remember vividly all the heartwarming memories and special moments of love shared with them. And good friends are hard to find, and best friends are even rarer to find in a lifetime. So for many of us, the passing of our loved ones leaves us feeling completely devastated, depressed, and lost. We feel our hearts have died with our loved one. And while we can't argue with our feelings that our hearts may feel dead, but the fact remains that the love that resides deep within our souls will live on forever. The beautiful memories shared with our loved ones have been permanently imprinted in our minds, and the precious bond of friendship and love changes from a physical to a metaphysical state that is eternal. In my brief search online, the word metaphysical is defined as metaphysical refers to concepts related to metaphysics, which is the branch of philosophy that studies the fundamental nature of reality, including existence, objects, and their properties. It involves abstract thought and questions about what lies beyond physical perception. Overall, metaphysical concepts challenge our understanding of reality and encourage deeper contemplation of existence beyond the physical world. Metaphysical is often associated with the 5D world as it represents a higher realm of consciousness that transcends physical reality. In this context, 5D consciousness involves spiritual dimensions and deeper layers of reality beyond the material world. I've often heard it said that on Earth we live in a 3D third dimension consciousness, and the metaphysical is the 5D fifth dimension state of consciousness. And some of us here on Earth are either living in 3D, 4D, 5D, or vacillate between all three states of consciousness. There's a fascinating article online that can be found on www.foreverconscious.com. It's called Understanding the Three States of Consciousness 3D, 4D, and 5D by Tanaz. I'm not sure how you say that now. I apologize if I'm not saying it correctly. But it's spelled Tanaaz, as in zebra. In that article, it further states there are higher states of consciousness, but these are believed to be only accessible after we have left our physical bodies. It is possible, however, to access these states through meditation, our dreams, and even with certain herbs and plant medicines. In higher states of consciousness, there are three key differences. There's the perception of time, power of thoughts, and feelings of oneness. It is believed that in 6D and 7D, our thoughts are so powerful that all we have to do is think about a location and we can travel to it. Without a physical body, in these states, we can fly wherever we want, as fast as we want, and we have a very strong understanding of unity consciousness. Time is not linear and cannot be measured. Instead, time feels endless. There is no fear in these states of being, and everything is perceived from a place of pure, unconditional love. And that was the quote from that article. By now, some of you may be wondering how unconditional love ties in our discussion for today. What grief has taught me is that it's this powerful experience of unconditional love found in our truest friendships that causes our hearts to grieve. We mourn not only the absence of their physical presence, but the absence of their meaningful friendship. While their physicality is absent, I challenge us to accept the fact that their unconditional love we value most in our friendship will always be there. Love never dies. The love between us and them is a strong, immutable energy that will connect our souls for eternity. Love is an eternal force that will never let us go and unite us as one to each other and with the universe. So, through my grieving process, I realized the precious gift of not only the present, but the gift of unconditional love. Through the emptiness and sorrow of my tears, grief has taught me gratitude for having been given the opportunity in this lifetime to receive unconditional love and all the memories and meaning it has brought to my life. As I write this, I've had to pause and take a moment to cry because I miss my truest friend. I'm not going to lie and pretend I'm quickly healing when I still have a very long way to go in this sad chapter of my life. It has been a little over 1 month since my friend's passing, and it feels like I've been grieving for years. And even though my mind can intellectually assimilate the knowledge and truth of unconditional love being eternal, my emotions are still very tender and raw. My mortal my moral being craves still for the physical presence of my dearest friend, and thus my grief continues. In summary, my life quote comes to mind today. Live, learn, grow, and love. I believe I'm somewhere between struggling currently through the growing pains and finding love through grief. I realize this grieving process can be rushed, and like many others who have already walked this path of grief, I choose to continue walking. For those of you who are also grieving over the loss of a loved one, it is my sincerest hope that what grief has taught me will one day heal our broken hearts and will fill our souls with unconditional love and everlasting grateful remembrance and eternal friendship. Okay, so it's another short video, like the last few that I've done. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to say that um, I am learning a lot from all this, and the readings that I've, all the research I've done online has been really interesting, to learn about a little bit about the afterlife and the people that are in touch with the afterlife that have spoken, have actually um, received messages from people in the afterlife and the positive um, thoughts that our loved ones have after they've passed. So that has been very encouraging to me as I'm going through my grieving, to know that our loved ones that passed are okay and that they are fine, they're happy, they're healed, and they're always by our side all the time. And that's very, very comforting to know that. Um, but like I said, even though I believe everything that I'm reading, and I acknowledge that this unconditional love will be there forever, for eternity. However, being human, because all of us who've had our memories and interactions and physical contact with our deceased loved ones, it's very difficult to let go and to accept, finally come to a place of acceptance that they're gone, physically, but that they would stay with us forever from an energetic level, from an energetic level, uh, eternally. And that's still a struggle for me at this point in time. And honestly, I may have to seek some counseling myself just to get through this, um, because this wasn't just a regular passing, as I've shared with a lot of you in my past few videos. I really do believe my truest friend was murdered, or at least what had his life ended sooner than expected. Let's put it that way. I mean, I think um, the direction it was going, because it was too late, he eventually would have died anyway. However, his death, I feel, was definitely expedited unnecessarily and wrongfully. So, um, like I've shared before in my other video, I still have some I have to forgive, and I realize that. Working through that forgiveness process is also a process. Working through my grief is a process, and just this whole um, grieving process of loss as well. So I believe I'm on the right track, but it is a situation of the passing that wasn't normal and somewhat tragic, I would say too. It's very tragic, and um, so um, I'm a little traumatized from what has happened. So it's going to take a little time to work through all of that. But in the midst of all this, I do realize that I am thankful that what the friendship has brought to my life. I am very thankful that I've had the experience and the privilege to have been to have had a true friend in my life, someone that loved me unconditionally and was always there for me. And I know they're still there for me. That my truest friend is still there for me right now, even after his passing. Okay, so I hope all of you can resonate with this video. If you do, please click like, click share. Again, if you have any comments you want to add or anything you've experienced or learned as you're processing and learning about grief, please feel free to put that below in my comments. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can be posted on all my upcoming videos. And I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. And please continue to keep me in your prayers and keep all of us who are grieving and healing in your prayers as well. Okay? So until next time, I'll see you again soon. And thanks for watching. Bye.